Hey everybody, Joe Cortez and James Burns of FrontRowPreps.com, powered by Chicken Ranch Casino and Golden Bear Physical Therapy. Burnsy, it's time once again for our predictions, brought to you by Golden Bear Physical Therapy. These are our playoff predictions, however. We're going to take a look at some key games this week involving teams from our region. Let's start in Division 1, Turlock at Oak Ridge. It's the revenge tour. Oak Ridge ended Turlock's season last year with a 27-9 victory.
These Bulldogs are highly motivated, as Jody just said, to get their revenge. Turlock has been loaded all season long. They played that preseason schedule for moments just like this, knowing that the D1 field was going to be loaded. It's a tough go, though, to go all the way up to Oak Ridge, up to El Dorado Hills and play those guys up there. Bulldogs in a slight victory. I think it's too long a road trip, and I don't know that these Bulldogs are quite ready for
I think these Bulldogs, like you mentioned, took on that preseason for this type of game exactly. They play in the tough Sierra Foothill League, which also features Del Oro, the team Turlock defeated last week, 42-21. They beat Del Oro, I think 38-15, a comparable score. That's why I'm going with these Bulldogs. Hey, I live in Turlock, 6 blocks from this campus. Yes. I'd be a marked man if I didn't pick these guys.
For me, I think that Brock Pasley, our athlete of the week, has to have another big game like that. You have to have a balance between the run and the pass. All season long, Gonzalez and Frias have been studs for these Bulldogs. Pasley stepped up in a big way against Del Oro, and that resulted in this matchup. He's got to be big again for them to even have a chance for me. I think that defense is nails and could probably keep this game close. The X factor for me is going to be the guy that you said all along was a dark horse MVP candidate. Can our athlete of the week step up again and have another 2, 3, 4 touchdown performance? Be clean with the football.
I say he does. In Division 2, we've got Central Catholic at Jesuit, another rematch of sorts. Remember when Central was coming off those 4 consecutive state championships, it was Jesuit up in Division 2 who ended Central Catholic's run as a state champion. They meet again 4 years later.
Yeah, that game a couple years ago featured a running back by the name of Jared Rice, a highly explosive athlete, was having a great season, went into that game with ankle injuries, and it just never delivered on that turf up at Jesuit.
He suited up.
And
retwisted that thing about 3 plays into the game.
He gave it a go, but it really hurt Central Catholic's cause going up to Carmichael and playing these guys.
And history kind of repeats itself this year.
This time around, we've reported all season long that these Raiders have been banged up from the very start, and they've been kind of just getting by, hoping to get guys healthy. Sani and Alibo, we've been told are going to see some action in this game.
Nick Sani, the big 6'5", 250-pound tight end who's being recruited by everybody. Yep. And Manaya Olivo, they're fast running back.
A two-way player, but also plays in the back end, shores up their secondary. Manaya Olivo's got what I've been told is a severe an ankle sprain.
He can run straight.
He can run straight. He can't cut. He can't go side to side, which is a huge deal when you're a running back.
That's key.
And we all know that Central Catholic, as good as they've been in the past, they want to establish the run. For me, if you don't have a healthy Manaya Olivo, I don't know that you can be Jesuit, even if this isn't one of the greatest Jesuit teams that they've had. So I'm going to go again with the home team in this one, as hard as that is to say.
Okay, I'm going to go with the provisional. Okay, I'm picking Central Catholic. If Manaya Olivo can't go, then I'll flip the pick to Jesuit. We'll see at game time. This will be a game time pick for me, in other words. But if Manaya can go, I'm going with Central Catholic.
Yeah.
I've seen them. In the loss to De La Salle, they looked great.
Yeah.
In the loss to St. Mary's, they looked horrible. I think we're seeing the right Central Catholic team right now.
Yeah. For me, again, it comes down to is Manaya Olivo, even at 85%, because I think at 85%, he's still one of the best running backs in the Sac-Joaquin section.
Absolutely.
And then the other big one is Nick Sani. I mean, is Nick Sani going to be a factor on both sides of the ball? Because when they don't have Nick Sani,
right,
they're awfully beatable, and we saw it against Oakdale,
especially on defense.
Yes,
he was missed there, especially against Oakdale.
If you don't have Sani, then you don't have to play your quarterback Dalton DeRossit.
Right.
On both sides of the ball, and all along I've said this about Central Catholic. I said once they get to the D2 playoffs, I like them in the first round, but if your quarterback is playing 2 ways in the D2 playoffs, I don't know that you can get out of the second round.
It's tough. Moving on to Division 4, we've got an all-local matchup, Atwater at Sierra. Yeah. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, in the Battle of the Blue, I'm going to go with the home team in this one. I like Sierra out of the BOL. Although Atwater at every turn of the calendar has been surprising, up to the challenge. This is for me, this is one of the great stories of this postseason, that here you have a team like Atwater that has struggled in recent years, and you have a team like Sierra that after winning their state championship, kind of took a little nosedive, but here they are back in the fold, back with a chance to create some waves in the D4 bracket. I like Sierra, Chris Johnson, Kamani Stanley is a beast, and I don't know that. Well, I guess they've seen some beasts in the CCC as well. But I'm gonna go with this blue squad.
I like Sierra.
Yeah.
I like Sierra a lot. I like Chris Johnson. I love Kamani.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with these. I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Okay.
Just because they've stuck it to me every time I picked against them this year.
I know.
I'm gonna get on their bandwagon. A little late, but I'm hopping on. This is an old bear, by the way, getting on the Atwater Falcon bandwagon. It's not heard of for my generation.
You know what's great about this, Jody, is we've talked for years about how great the VOL is, and it's really carried the large school.
Yes.
The large school. And now we've got Turlock that has had a nice little run, and they've created their own little dynasty. And with Atwater, Buhack Colony coming into the fold, and the way that Atwater has stepped up and beat Merced in the Santa Fe Bowl, and took Buhack right to the end in the Bloss Bowl, they're competitive. And this is why it's one of the great matches. That's why it's on the board.
That's why it's on our board this week.
Yeah.
Okay, Division 5. Let's look at Bear River at Hilmar, the reigning D6.
Yeah.
Let's look at Bear River at Hilmar, the reigning D6 champion, the reigning state champion. Who do you like?
I like the Yellow Jackets in this one. They are a heavy favorite according to CalPreps in this, or CalPreps.com in this matchup. Bear River is one of those teams though that comes in. They're a proud football program. They'll be ready for the matchup, but I think that Hilmar, this is that time of the year that Frank just flips a switch, and his boys seem to kind of elevate and take it to another
Absolutely.
notch. While we see some teams tire out and fatigue and stamina become an issue,
Hilmar
finds that
other gear.
Yeah.
Okay, we both like Hilmar in this one. Calaveras at Ripon. Well, let's take this one off the board, I suppose, because Calaveras had to forfeit this week.
Yes. So Calaveras, by all accounts, this was a clerical issue that happened last May. One of those deals where a box went left unchecked. Those boys were informed yesterday. So Wednesday afternoon, they're in the middle of practice. Administration has to come onto the field and tell them, hey, look, season's over. Okay. They played unknowingly. They played an ineligible player,
A sophomore who had been called up for the postseason. Turns out he wasn't eligible.
Yeah.
And he got into a game, like you said, a clerical error.
Yeah. So Calaveras, shockingly and saddeningly, their season is over and done. Ripon Christian, meanwhile, is left waiting for a playoff game. And if you're Ripon,
they had a first round bye. Now they get a second round bye, essentially.
It's going to be 3 weeks before they play another meaningful game. And I know that Ripon Christian coach Randy Vasani, I mean, that's all that's on his mind. I mean, he's bummed that they can't play and that the season's over for that Calaveras bunch. He was really looking forward to playing a Mother Lode League team and proving to people, hey, here we are. We belong in these conversations.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now they've got to wait. And I wonder, we talk about the bye week all the time.
And we talked about it last year with Del Oro.
Yes.
So when Central Catholic lost to Del Oro, Del Oro was coming, remember?
Yeah.
Del Oro had to, because of the Jesuit forfeit.
Yeah.
Del Oro had a bye, and then they got another week off when Jesuit had to forfeit, and I think it affected them somewhat in that D2 championship game last year. We could see the same thing this year for Ripon Christian.
Yeah, I mean, you're again talking about 3 weeks in between games. You as a coach, you want some rest and you want the ability to maybe work on some stuff, but 3 weeks is a very long time, and you worry about just focus, distraction, game speed, those kind of things. For me, if I were a coach, just, are we going to be efficient when we come out? Or are we going to go spend a quarter and a half warming up to the speed? And once you get in the playoffs, everything is amplified.
Yeah.
Okay. Your weaknesses are magnified. And if you're a team like Ripon Christian, when you've had 3 weeks to kind of just sit and wonder and twiddle your thumbs,
it matters.
A long
it matters.
time,
We've talked about it many times.
Yeah. But I'm going to go with Ripon Christian in this matchup. I like Ripon Christian.
I think I will too. So that's a look at a few key games in the front row region this week, the second week of playoffs in the CIF Sac Joaquin section. For the rest of our picks, be sure to visit frontrowpreps.com, powered by Chicken Ranch Casino and Golden Bear Physical Therapy. He's James Burns. I'm Joe Cortez. Thanks for stopping by.